Hello everyone, this is the second video and I would like to continue with the rules, and then we're going to work with the map. So just to remind you that the counter interval is very important to know how to find it. We subtract two lines next to each other to find the counter interval, or we use the bolded lines. Every fifth line is bolded. We subtract two bolded lines divided by 5. So the counter interval gives us an information about the elevation of each line. Also, we use half a contour, and we use half a contour to find the elevation on the top of the hill or the bottom of the depression. So here we add to the elevation of the last line, we add half a contour to find the elevation on the top of the hill. And here we subtract from the last line, we subtract half a contour to find the elevation of the bottom of the depression. So also, when we have a map like this and we have letter points like A, B, C, you see, these letter points are between the lines. To find the elevation, we add or we subtract half a contour. If they don't step on a line, so we definitely have to use half a contour. So for example, let's see the elevation for C. 500 is the closest line here. This way the numbers are decreasing, which means that we have to subtract from 500 half a contour to find the elevation for C. So the contour interval here is 100. Half a contour will be 50. 500 minus 50 is 450, so this will be the elevation for C. If we have to find the elevation for A, we have to add to 100 half a contour, which is 50, and the elevation of A will be 150, because this way the numbers are increasing, so we're going to higher elevation. Okay, this is just these are the rules. Now I would like to show you the map. This is the map what we're going to use to find all these landforms, and we're going to talk about the highest, the lowest elevation, and everything else. Let me go here to this table. This is page 3, where there is one more rule I would like to show you, and this is the depression. So look at this here. The circle, actually the first circle on the surface, this is the edge of the depression. And then this is a hole, so the numbers are going down, they're decreasing, right? Until they reach the bottom of the depression. So the elevation of this circle will be the same like the first contour line, which is running next to it, and it has a lower number. You see, 200, so the circle is between 300 and 200. The elevation of the circle will be 200. So the first line next to the circle will give you the elevation of the edge of the depression. So as you see here, this is the table where you have to put all the information. There are many questions about the elevation of point A, B, C on the map, or the contour interval. So we'll go through and I will show you how this works. So let's go back to the map and to make like an enlargement like this. And let's see what we have here. So first we have to read the text on the top. It says, the questions in this exercise are based on this contour line map called topographic map with elevation shown in feet. North is the top of the map here. Streams are shown as dashed lines. As you see here, all these dashed lines, these are streams. And a line scale for measuring horizontal distances, or the graph scale you see here on the bottom. To measure the real distances, I will show you how this works. So what is the contour interval first? So remember how to find the contour interval. So we can use the numbers of the lines, but you see they're missing, right? There are no numbers here, but we have the bolded lines. Remember that we can find the contour interval subtracting two bolded lines divided by 5, because every fifth line is bolded. 750 minus 500 is 250. divided by 5 is 50. So the contour interval for this map will be 50. Half a contour will be 25. So here is question 4 on the top. You will see you can put the information. 50 is the contour interval. So when we're going to higher or lower elevation, for each line we have to add or subtract the contour interval. For elevations between the lines, we have to add or subtract half a contour. Now let's see how many hills do we have. Remember the rules. The circles, the closed circles, there are 2 hills, Pine Hill and Rock Hill. Now which one is higher? Definitely Rock Hill. You see 750 here, and A will be 750 plus half a contour here, right? So plus 25, 775. And here, to find the elevation of Rock Hill, or the elevation on the top, so we have to go with the number we have here, which is 1000. For each line, we have to add 50. And for the top of the hill, 25. So 1000 plus 50 plus 50 plus 25. And this will give us the elevation of the Rock Hill. So definitely the highest elevation on the map will be right here, the middle of this circle, the top of the hill. Now we have to look for the lowest elevation. So the lowest elevation will be in the valleys or the depression. You see, we have one depression here. We have a river valley here. So the elevation in the river valley can vary, but this is lowland, so we can look here what the elevation is. So the dashed line is the river. Let's concentrate in the northern part. 500 is the elevation of this contour line. So for the middle part where the river is, we have to subtract half a contour to find the elevation. And half a contour will be minus 25. 500 minus 25 is 475. But let's go here. You see there are more lines here. So here we have to do what? To find the elevation in the southern part of the river valley, we have to subtract 500 minus 50 minus 25. So you have to concentrate here. Maybe here is the lowest elevation. But definitely when you finish with everything, you have to check where the lowest number is. And there are 2 locations, here or the depression. Let's see the depression now. Remember, so my suggestion is to put the missing numbers here. You see, from 500, you go uphill. For each line, you have to add 50. So label all these lines to have all the numbers here, because it will be much easier for you to find the elevations. So 500 plus 50, 550 plus 50 is 600, right? So 600 is this line. So remember the rule, what we studied, that the elevation of the first circle, which is the edge of the depression, will be the same like on the first line, 600. Then for the next line, we have to subtract 50. For each line, you subtract 50. And for the bottom part where Q is, you subtract 25. So this is important to know. Then you compare the numbers here, and you will see where the lowest elevation is. Let's see what it says here in the table. I will read the questions in the table, and I will show you here on the map what you have to do. So it says, question number 1, what is the contour interval? We already know that it's 50. What is the elevation at point A? We already found it, right? You add half a contour to 750. Then for point B, now you go here to lower elevation, you subtract 150 for this line, and for the middle part, you subtract 25. Then what else can be difficult for you? There are some questions which are asking, what letter point has the highest elevation? You know that the highest elevation is here, right? What letter point you see here? E, right? This is the letter point. What letter point has the lowest elevation? So you have to see which one. Maybe Q, the bottom of the depression. So then when it says where is the highest elevation shown, is not a location marked with a letter, you have to put the name, right? You put Rock Hill. Then it says, what is the elevation of the highest location? Number 8, you have to put a number. What is the elevation? You have to calculate it. Remember, 1000 plus 50 plus 50 plus 25 for the highest point. Number 9, where is the lowest elevation shown? You will say, so here you have a name, Rush Creek. This is the river valley, the river which is flowing to the south. So you will see where exactly the lowest location is. Question number 11 is about the rise. The rise, this is the maximum elevation minus minimum elevation. And you have to put here once you calculate them. Which letter point is clearly on a spur? Question number 12. So the spurs, remember the U-shaped. So you see here the U-shaped contour lines. So this is actually the ridge. And then other question which may be difficult for you, let me see. What is the elevation at the bottom of the depression? I already told you, use this line here, the elevation of this line, which is the same like the first circle, which is the edge of the depression. Then you subtract 50 for the next circle, and then you subtract 25 for the bottom of the depression. How deep the depression is? Definitely you subtract the elevation where P is, the first circle, minus the bottom, and you will find the depth. The horizontal distance now. So most of the maps, topographic maps, they have this graph scales, and we use them to measure the real distances. So the distance here is shown in feet. When you have a graph scale, use a piece of paper, and let's say you have to measure the distance between 2 points, which are A and D. You put the paper, the edge of the paper on A, and you mark where D is. So let's say this is here the your distance. You come to the scale, and you transfer the distance on the scale starting from 0. You see, and you measure your distance in feet. As you see here in the front, there are smaller increments. So this is from 0 to 1,000. There are 10. So each one, 1,000 divided by 10 is 100. So each of those smaller increments will be 100. When you measure with a paper, and let's say your paper is longer, you always start from 0. When your distance is longer than the scale, you mark where the last number is, 3,000, and you go back with the rest of the distance to measure the whole distance. If your distance falls between the whole numbers, you can use the smaller increments. So this is how you measure the real distance. Then another thing what you have to do, question number 20, is to draw a small circle around the location where you see the steepest slope. So steepest is here, right, where the contour lines are very close together. This is an indication of steep slope. If you have a question about least slope, this is the opposite. Least slope means where the contour lines are far apart, they are not close together, and this is the gentle slope and or lowland. Also, you have to draw 3 more streams. You have already here, you see an example. You see the V-shaped contours here, they pointing uphill, you see? And you put the dash lines crossing this V-shaped contours, showing the river valley. Now we have to look here where you have V-shaped contours, you see, and you have to put the dash line showing the river valley. But be careful. I would like to show you here this part. So you can see V-shaped contours, but they pointing downhill, right? They pointing to lower elevation. This is not a river valley. But if you come here, you see V-shaped contours pointing uphill. So you're gonna put here the dash lines across this V-shaped contours. Like here, you see you have an example, and you will do 2 more. So this is basically what you have to do on this map, and you will have a very similar one. I would like to show you. It looks like this. You can see. Again, you have here hills. You have also graph scale on the bottom for the real distances. You have a river, you see river valley here. You have letter points also. You have to find the elevation on the top of the hills. You have also one depression, pretty much the same like for the first one. And of course, you will have also another table. You see the other table where you have to put the information. It's very similar for what we did for the first assignment, for the first map. And you just have to follow the instructions, follow the rules, take a look what we did, and you can complete the second map also. Thank you for your attention and good luck.